big name off the board that is worthy of having you jump in early. Take it away.
Yeah, Eli Sanders, running back over at Chandler, was a one-time Boise State commit back in the summer, but mid-season got offers from Iowa State and Iowa. This past weekend, he went out to Iowa to check out both campuses. He even had his name on the marquee and Ames on an Applebee's. They really gave him the King's welcome. Brock Purdy also reached out to him. When it's all said and done, he commits to Iowa State. And he's excited to learn behind Breece Hall, who was college football's leading rusher last year. And he said he'll be ready when his time comes, whether it be in support as a freshman or when his role grows over the coming years. But very talented running back, 1,377 yards, 23 rushing touchdowns last year in 10 games. And he continues a long line of dominant rushers for the Chandler Wolves.
Nico Marchiol is somebody that if he goes to Arizona State, I think it really flips the switch for people because the Hamilton quarterback, it's a quarterback. Jordan, there's not been a quarterback in state that stayed home that's killed it in a long, long time.
Yeah, and Nico is that big time recruit. He has offers from across the entire nation, and he just released his top four, and it's Arizona State, Florida, Florida State, and Rutgers. But much of the Pac-12 has offered a good chunk of the SEC. So this could be a huge recruiting win for them. I know that he's going to check out Florida and Florida State this week, at least the campuses. I think he's getting closer and closer to that decision, narrowed his list from 8 to 4. Rutgers was able to jump in there, but ASU has been in on him really since they offered back in March. All Florida State and Florida also have been schools that he's mentioned a lot. So this should be a battle for a very top quarterback here in the 2022 class.
Okay, all these quarterbacks that were offered in the last week, we're in the third week of January, just run through them. There's a slew of offers here in the Valley and in the state.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of the next crop of really good quarterbacks. These are guys that are already getting it done at the varsity level, and now the offers are starting to come. We'll start things off with DeMond Williams Jr., the Basha quarterback, as a freshman. Very talented, 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, and only 2 interceptions after week 2. He adds offers from Florida Atlantic and NAU. Brayton Silmore, the quarterback over at Chaparral. He's waited for opportunities, backing up Jack Miller. He was the guy this year. Every time he came in, he was able to light it up and have some really nice performances. He adds offers from NAU and Penn. Devin Dampier, the Pinnacle quarterback. Pioneers have a long line of very good quarterbacks going to big time programs. It's going to be exciting to see him develop over the next couple of years. As an offer from NAU, Trayson Bourget, the one-time U of A commit, adds an offer from Columbia, another big arm from South Point Catholic, and then Ridge Dutchikol, the quarterback over at Saguaro, adds an offer from Bucknell and Columbia. Bucknell currently has Tyler Beverett, the quarterback that was the starter before Ridge. So there's a bit of a connection there, but he's a guy split time with Xander Werner last year, but a talented guy who I think is going to develop nicely over the next year.
Jordan Ham with us, knowing all, telling all on the recruiting front. Okay, Pac-12 has come in heavy. And one player that both you and I were like, what is going on here? Mr. Allen over at Highland picks up a U of A offer.
Yeah, Ammon Allen, again, U of A being wise, targeting some of these guys who might be under recruited, and Ammon Allen certainly was one of those. So talented, the Mike Haynes defensive back of the year from the National Football Foundation Valley of the Sun chapter this year, and it is well deserved. He did just about everything. I was able to talk to him right after he got the offer, and what they're thinking for him for U of A is Don Brown's defense has a Viper position, which is essentially a safety linebacker hybrid. They think that he fits that really nicely. So I think it's right now it's Arizona. NAU has still been recruiting him very heavily and, are trying to add to an already impressive class. But I think a decision is going to be coming soon. So I think it's wise of Arizona to be the first Power 5, be the first Pac-12 offer for him.
Okay, Russell Davis is someone that I watched last year at Hamilton and said, oh my goodness. And so he's starting to take off here. We've not talked about him much, if at all, on the roundup. Fill me in, fill the fans in.
This is a guy that lived in the backfield last year, just absolutely dominant. Hamilton went up against some of the best offensive lines in the entire state. and he was dominant against the Saguaros. He had really good games against Chandler. He just knows how to blow things up in the backfield. And he adds his first offer from Arizona, class of 2022. So I think this is really going to start getting the snowball rolling a little bit for him.
Okay, before you get out of here, a couple of last names in the segment.
Yeah, with the Pac-12, Jaden Matthews and J.C. Dickerson, both of those were freshmen over at Saguaro last year. They were on varsity. That's a bit of a rarity for a big program like Saguaro, but I was talking to Coach Mons, and Matthews, he said when it's all said and done, he will be one of the best pure running backs that the program has ever seen. Has the size, has the speed, was able to get in this year. And then Dickerson is a Denzel Burke type, can play on both sides of the ball. They see him playing a lot of defensive back and being the Keely Ringo type, the Jacoby Covington, but he can also go and play wide receiver. And it was one thing that Coach Mons really said was they are physically there to play at a varsity level, but they're also mentally there. So ASU offers both of them. Shaquan Bowser, talented Castile outside linebacker, defensive end, adds another Pac-12 offer from Oregon State. And then Ben Morrison, the DB over at Brophy, adds an offer from Duke and then is re-offered by Arizona with the new coaching staff as well.
That is Jordan Ham. He knows all. He tells all. We could go another 15 minutes on this, but we're going to save his voice every week on the Recruiting Roundup.